Moving right along, let's get these bra cups assembled. So you will put the center front bra cup over the side front bra cup, and you will sew them together with a straight stitch, back stitch at the beginning and the end. And you might be wondering, if you're new to bra making, why to use a straight stitch versus a zigzag stitch, or when to use one or the other. Generally speaking, this is not always the case. You use a straight stitch on vertical seams and a zigzag stitch on horizontal seams, because you don't really stretch vertically in lingerie, you stretch horizontally. Not always the case, so take that with a grain of salt, but generally speaking. For this sew along, if it's a simple step like a straight stitch with a back stitch, I'm not going to show me actually sewing it. If it's a more difficult step, such as inserting the V wire, then I will 100% show me actually sewing it, so you can see like how I maneuver and how I stitch around and do my bra making magic. Vertical seams on the bra cups are sewn. Two ways to finish the seam allowances. If you have a serger, you can serge it. You can also just do a zigzag stitch down, press the seam allowances to one side, do a zigzag top stitch, and the sewer in all of us is like, no, I want that clean finish, but the overlock stitch also is a little itchy for some people over the nipple area, so a zigzag stitch avoids that. Also, a zigzag stitch can be very, very, very clean. Sometimes your overlock machine on delicate fabrics will bunch up because of the tension. A zigzag stitch can be just as nice as an overlock. We're gonna put these aside for the next step. We are gonna do inserting the V wire. If you have sewn the Madeline Simplicity 9478, it also has a V wire construction. Personally, I think this one is a lot easier. Work smarter, not harder. So the photos in the instruction hopefully are clear, but I am also hoping that this video is gonna make it be like, oh, totally get that, looks like a breeze, no big deal. So the first step is that on your V opening, you are going to mark about 1/4 of an inch below that point. This is a step that I will be showing how I sew. You're gonna place your channeling on top. So your right side is face up, your channeling is plush side face up as well, and you are going to be stitching along the outer edge or the left edge of the channeling, all the way down to that pinpoint. That's it. We're just gonna do a straight stitch. Then we will move on to the next step. So I sewed the one side of the underwire channeling. Just to note that even though I'm showing you the bodysuit, if you are making the teddy, you would do the exact same thing to the left side of the V opening. So same construction for the teddy as well as the bodysuit at this step. So once you have sewn the first line of stitching, and you will see here that it's on the left edge. You will take your scissors or your snips or whatever cutting tool that you have, and you will snip two. And sometimes I like to put my thumb there so that I don't trim past or cut the seam line. There we go. So I trimmed it, and then I'm gonna open it up. So trimming it will allow you for it to go from a V like this. Once you snip it, you'll be able to go like this. And then continue sewing the channeling on the left side. Now, after you sew this step, this is gonna look all wonky. You're gonna be like, oh my God, this is totally not gonna work. I must have done something wrong. Until you insert the V wire, that's when it really takes shape and looks like a V. So don't panic if after this step, it just doesn't look like the finished Penelope. Just wait till you put in that V underwire. Finish sewing the other side. I'm just gonna snip this. And the next step is to insert the V wire. Alrighty, there is my V wire, and I am pressing where it is ending, and it's about a ½ inch below the top edge. You definitely want some space there to add the bra cups as well as it's channeling on this seam. If this is looking like a little weird down here, just give it a little steam and iron on a synthetic setting and it should lay flat. Also, if you want to trim the seam allowances close to the stitch line, you can. I'm not going to. It doesn't extend past the underwire. You can't see it, so I'm just going to leave it as is. And you also might be wondering, why are we not stitching it on the other side? Don't we need to stitch it down in order for it to stay like this? So one is that I'm not doing anything and it's staying exactly like this. But also when you sew the bra cups, you're gonna sew it so that it tacks it down at the top in this orientation. So you don't need to stitch it on the other side. It is perfectly fine as is. The next step is to sew the bra cups to the front bodysuit or the front teddy. So I'm gonna take this out of the way because before we can attach them, we first have to finish off this edge with fold over elastic. Now you can use the wider fold over elastic or the skinnier or narrower fold over elastic at this point. The wider fold over elastic was intended for the side, but you can definitely use narrow elastic here or wide elastic here or vice versa. So they're interchangeable is what I'm trying to say. So with the bra cups wrong side face up, let's just do a little quick tutorial on what fold over elastic is in case you don't know. This sew along won't be going over all the tips and tricks to sewing fold over elastic. If you need more information on that, do a quick Google search or search on YouTube for tutorials on how to sew fold over elastic. So fold over elastic usually has an indentation down the center, and that indentation should line up with the edge of the fabric. Sometimes, not always, it has a matte side and a shiny side. The matte side should be facing out on the finished garment. The matte side should be facing in on the finished garment. So with the bra cups wrong side face up, you are going to lay your fold over elastic down. You're going to be sewing on the matte side with a zigzag stitch as close to that edge as possible. You don't want your zigzag stitches going down the center of the fold over elastic. So right along that edge, not down the center. Then you will flip it over and you will sew another pass, which just means line of zigzag stitches, on the other edge of the fold over elastic. It'll make a lot more sense once you see me sewing it underneath the machine. Once the fold over elastic is sewn to the neckline edge of the bra cups, then we can attach it to the front bodysuit or the front teddy. Now, I'm going to pin it together with wrong sides together because the way that the Penelope was drafted was that the underwire channeling on the bra wire seam line is exposed. However, if you want to do it with right sides together so that the channeling is on the inside, that's totally fine too. So I'm going to pin this wrong sides together. And what I like to do is I like to pin on one side, then on the other side, and then pin in between. If you are making the teddy, before sewing the bra cups to the teddy, you first want to add a gathering stitch at the top edge. If you don't know what a gathering stitch is, quick Google search or search on YouTube and you will find tons of tutorials. And you are going to gather it until the length of the wire seam line. I'm calling it a wire seam line even though there is no wire. Don't know why, but let's call it a bra seam line. I'm just used to like bras. It's called the wire seam line. But you're going to gather it until the length of this seam on the teddy matches the length of that seam on the bra cups. Now, because this is really sheer fabrics, it's going to gather really easily. And then I will pin them wrong sides together. You can do right sides together if you want the trailing on the inside. And I'm gonna sew them with a straight stitch, back stitch at beginning and end. Because it's just a straight stitch, I won't be showing this operation or sewing under the machine because it's just a straight stitch. Okay, so at the end of this video, after this step, this is where you should be. I think it's a good stopping point for this session because the next one is how to sew the underwire channeling. So that's a couple of steps, so this is a good place to end. But this is what it should look like. So I sewed the bra cups to the front teddy, wrong sides together because my underwire channeling is gonna be exposed. On the teddy, looks the same way, but with a dress attached to it. So once we add that underwire channeling, it'll give it a little bit more structure. Right now it's a little wavy. So we'll see you in the next video.